Right, just wanted, I want to make a quick video and I never do. I've had a letter from the county courts. It's not really worth mentioning though. But yes, this landlady should be in prison. Right, oh my gosh, it's coming up to 4 o'clock in the morning. I've received some very, very patronising text messages, but it's funny how John and Luke, these duo, they're like little boys, aren't they? Little boys. Absolutely disgusting, deplorable, everything. I'm going to read this email that I'm going to send it to the housing officer who's being investigated by the legal ombudsman. Yes. Yeah, I have to deal with these. It would be polite if I was to call them sea urchins, because it would be an insult to urchins, wouldn't it? The dustmen of the ocean, anything at the bottom of the seabed, the way it's just disgusting. And this housing officer, they couldn't manage their arseholes. I'm going to say, why should I say anything nice when I've had filthy, foul-mouthed... I know I'm supposed to be a woman of Yahweh. I'm supposed to set the standards, but I am so desperate to use some bad language. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But we are dealing with evil. I mean, even when I got in the taxi, because I bought some food, there's a really nice black guy, and he's always upbeat. He's always like, "How are you? Hello." And I hadn't seen him for a while, and I got in the taxi, and he said, "Hang on a minute, didn't I used to take you to Whitley Road?" I said, a lot has happened since then." He said, "Oh, what's happened?" And I said, I told him in short, and I told him how this landlady had locked me out of the house and why, and how she was happy to go to prison, and the old man and the school teacher tenant who bullied me, and he said, "What? A school teacher and an old man?" I said, "Yes." And I said, the landlady is elderly. She's 85. She's a retired matron and she's happy to go to prison. She just doesn't care. She does not care. She refused to let me back in the house. She locked me out after she took the law into her own hands, and she's happy to go to prison for it. And I said, you get to that point where you think, is it me? Is it me? He said, no, there are a lot of nasty people in this world. I said, yes, but you just don't know. You it's like you're constantly having to look over your back, all these narcissists, but it's everywhere. It's a disease now, isn't it? So, but it was nice having a taxi driver say, no, it's not you. They're nasty, nasty people. I mean, yeah, he's saying what you already know, but you need to hear it, don't you? But I know I'm just an amazing woman. I know I am. But I want to put this out there because I think that there will be, I'm hoping and praying that there could be a lot of narcissists watching me. Well, there are narcissists watching me. The ones who have done this to me are watching this. The landlady, before she even knew me, she knew about my YouTube video because of Charles Lucas Property Management. Because I've got criminal evidence on my YouTube channel of me being attacked. Blood on my door, police not doing anything. It's a big joke to them. That's why you must come up to London on the I think it's the 26th of October, because I want to be around real people, real, if there are any, do you know what I mean? So I'm speaking to intelligent people's conscience out there. We got to wake up the sleepers, isn't it? But no, I've had some very arrogant text messages from. What I've done is I've taken my partner's advice and I've put them verbatim in this email. So if I can just bring up the email without losing this video, because I'm not technical. It's a miracle that I can even do this, to be honest. Because as you can see, I don't have a smartphone. I just have a cheap. And they're refusing to put anything in. They want to do everything via text rather than have a phone call. Because I lost it. I lost it over the... Well, when I say I lost it, I was telling them to grow a pair, which they should, because, you know, they're behaving like little boys. You know, there are just no men alive anymore. If elderly people are now behaving like demented children, like this retired matron and the elderly man and that school teacher, and those two told me they hated each other and they hid the back door key. They're so... Even if someone had said to them, oh, we've got this tenant called Bryony moving in, or you want to be careful of her, she's a nutter. Can't people think for themselves anymore? Don't they have the ability to have... People just... they're like... People are like baby adults. They're like... people can't think for themselves. They have no critical thinking. They've got to have other people tell them things, and they've got to believe it and take it as... It's like the people who said, oh yes, your partner definitely is abusing you. And what were they doing? Horrific crimes against humanity on me. Your Darren's a C-U-N-T. Oh yes. These were the people... These are your public servants in A&E who are supposed to be looking after you. And they're beating you, saying you can't go to the toilet, you can't have a cup of water. But they're not doing anything about a drunk for 3 hours. Yes, that's what the staff in A&E told me and my partner. But don't worry, Chantel from Matthew 25. You just go and report back to PC Scott Franklin Lester Senior. This is why you don't want people's names out there, but they need to hear it. You don't want people's names out there because you've got a lot to hide, and the only people who are paranoid are the ones who don't like people like me telling the truth. This country is just finished. Absolutely finished. All I'm getting in my suggestions, the UK is finished. The UK is a cesspit. It's finished. It's over. We're done. The country's over. Kaput. That's all I'm getting in my notifications on YouTube. Paul Thorpe, we're over. It's finished. Oh, and all of this. Leave the UK. You know, we're a cesspit. We're a communist tyranny, whatever. Anyway, this is going to be my email to Andrew Cook. I do not know how I find the energy to do this. Regarding disability discrimination in Part 7 of the Housing Act. Dear Andrew, this email to let you know that this email, hang on a minute, this email is just to let you know that this property has not been a suitable placement under disability discrimination in Part 7 of the Housing Act. Trudy from Warming Up the Homeless suggested I do this. I was only meant to be placed here for one night, and the council placed here for one night on 15th of August 2024, and the council had not acted by law on 6th of July when the landlady illegally made me street homeless. I will elaborate further in this email. Please see attached the video of the rubbish bins overflowing and holes punched in the walls, and I've put the YouTube link. Jace, it's so sickening. Separate to this, I was just thinking of how the landlady threatened to switch the heating off. The heating that she had fixed. I'm not going to say the date because I've caught her out, and I'm going to make her look as stupid as she's done it herself. She's made herself look stupid. She's perjured herself and others, and she's in contempt of court, and she's committed several crimes. It was her choice. So I'm not going to put the date. She put a working radiator in my room, and I'm not going to say the date. And then on the 11th of March, 1 week after she attempted to illegally change the locks whilst I was in my room, an ex-police officer turned locksmith. Can you imagine my partner's locksmith doing that? What a beautiful man my partner's locksmith is. Because a week later, I reported her for assault, and she threatened to switch the heating off. Anyway, get back to this. Please see attached the video of the rubbish bins overflowing and holes punched in the walls, and I've put the YouTube video link. Video depicts council health and safety hazards. I can't say it. Video depicts council health and safety hazards ignored, recycling bags and rubbish bags everywhere, and the holes punched in the walls caused allegedly by a woman in the house. Which had previously, because she's no longer here, which had previously caused a police raid regarding, I'm saying what another person had said to me, regarding an alleged man with a knife in the house. This is a house share for vulnerable women, some of whom have come from women's refuges and whom have complained about the same serious issues as me, or do I put myself? I don't know. Such as scalding hot showers and the rubbish bins. I was only meant to be in this property for one night, only from 15th of August. My partner got the key to the property, keys to the property, brought me bedding and cleaned the filthy shower, toilet and fridge, see below. Twice last year I had my own self-contained flat, which you had the police beat me and threatened me out of simply for being distressed at my father's death. I am on severe disability and I would not have managed to get into the property without my partner, and I will elaborate further below in this email. The council did not act by law, and I have only had harassment from John, the director, and a woman named Louise Corp, whom I have not met, and this was under extremely traumatic circumstances and traumatic, upsetting news about my sister. There has also been a breach of GDPR, and again, I have not consented for you to have court information, as it does not concern you, Andrew, or the council, and you are being investigated by the legal ombudsman. For unlawfully threatening a vulnerable woman out of her home. With police. Yeah. So, and you are being investigated by the legal ombudsman for unlawfully threatening a vulnerable woman out of her home with police for simply not accepting an unsuitable flat. Again, I will elaborate further in this email because John and Luke from Lilybank Homes abused me and my partner a few years ago. Of course, they're not going to tell the women here that, are they? They're probably going to say, she's schizophrenic, she's nuts, when in actual fact, I screamed my head off because I thought a woman was telling me that she had disposed of my valuable possessions. A woman called Winnie the Rude, as my partner called her, in the psychiatric unit, because my valuables mean something to me and I suffer with crippling OCD, and basically I just had enough of being physically and verbally and emotionally abused and the rest of the corruption. That's not in the email, that's just me telling you, the viewers. And my partner was chased by a convict, a demented convict, because it was an all-male property up the road, and he was assaulted by him. They'd already tried to get a man out of there, a drunk man, an alcoholic who urinated on the floor of the shower. I know, isn't Eastbourne lovely? This is what the council... But then, of course, you're getting it in private house shares. You're not even safe with elderly people and a school teacher who will harass you and call you a CUNT. It's all on YouTube. Just have a look. Ratton school teacher abusing me and my partner while we're having a cup of tea. And that used to be this landlady's house share, private house share. They didn't tell you that. It used to be a supported accommodation. Maybe they had some drag ends left over. Anyway, because as I keep saying, the supported accommodation, it's all a scam. The legal ombudsman is the only one that will pull their tiny finger out to do something for you. I have typed the text messages I kept from you, Andrew Cook, and from either John, the director of Lily Bank. I have typed out below the text messages I kept from you, Andrew Cook, and from either John, the director of Lilybank Homes, or Luke. The abuse is continuing, and I will forward all of this to the solicitor. All text messages are verbatim. Number 1, firstly, some of the text messages between myself and Housing Officer Andrew Cook. 27th of August at 3:30 p.m. I'll just put all text messages are verbatim. I have put them in block capitals, uppercase. I've put them in uppercase. Firstly, some of the text messages between myself and Housing Officer Andrew Cook. 27th of August, 3:30 p.m. I'll continue my inquiry. So this is the text messages from the Housing Officer Andrew Cook. No, I'll put number 1. Firstly, some of the text messages between myself and you, Housing Officer Andrew Cook. So, yeah, again, 27th of August, 3:30 p.m. I'll continue my inquiries and let you know when I can advise you what the decision is likely to be. And then he puts his email address. 2nd of September, 2:43 p.m. Please text me. I think there was some more text messages in between that. But 3rd of September, 9:25 a.m. You have signed a consent form, and we are therefore obliged to carry out inquiries to reach a decision on your homelessness application. 3rd of September at 9:28. Please contact me. please contact BHT, on 0800 020 39380 if you wish to receive support from them during the progress of your application. So then I put in bold with a star, I have emails for the county courts to prove that BHT floating support workers care of Monique Prescott help put me in rent arrears by closing my case, and the BHT legal advisors who wanted to help me make a counterclaim but then decided not to and sent me an email saying that BHT do not want to help me. I also have a letter from Louise Corp, who did not turn up to see me on the 15th of August, the day I was moved into this property, when the council was not doing as District Judge Harper told them to get me an illegal evictions officer. Again, Monique Prescott said they do not have illegal evictions officers. So after 6 weeks self-funding hotels, Monique placed me here, saying, is that a comma? That should be a comma. Excuse me, well, I just correct that, saying it would only be for one night, and my partner got the key, bought bedding and cleaned the filthy shower, toilet and fridge, and I have again been abused. The word abused can mean neglected. Our English language is vast. I also received a letter from Louise Corp telling me to contact BHT for help, and prior to that, upon my partner's help moving in, Louise, whom I have never met, had the audacity to send me a text via Adult Social Care on the 22nd of August saying, "Seek, dear BM, can I urge you to engage with the terms of agreement between yourself and the temporary accommodation provider provided by Housing, as Adult Social Care, ASC, are not currently able to provide temporary accommodation. Kindest regards, Louise." Louise is not even able to show up for an appointment after being passed to her. So that is several complaints already, including the breach of GDPR from John at Lilybank Homes, who saw my tears and distress at what I am going through, as well as my brain-damaged, crippled sister, and her carer, who swore at me for not calling my sister a man. So this text was just harassment and not concern for me, my suicidal state, or my brain-damaged sister, and the abuse I received, and what she has said about life expectancy, and I'm adding the disgusting vile text messages with regards to this, and the letter John from Lilybank Home sent me about my partner's help being, quote, unacceptable behaviour, especially since my partner, let me just add, especially since my partner had a caring role for me via care for the carers. On that note, I should just refer to Louise as L. Absolutely appalling! Exclamation mark. 3rd of September, 9:32 a.m. My last response to Andrew Cook: I did not sign a consent form for you to take information regarding my confidential legal matter. BHT won't, by the way, that's Brighton Housing Trust in case you don't know, won't help me because they say I don't trust them. Their duty legal advisors messed me around. Their court duty legal advisors messed me around. Text messages. Number 2, text messages from John or Luke from Lilybank Homes. Neither will specify whom sent these, but they share the same mobile number. So, wait for it. Excuse me. John or Luke. Mention Lucas Williams. Oh, God. it sounds like something from Star Wars, doesn't it? Charles Lucas Property Management. Now we've got Lucas Williams. John or Luke mentioned Lucas Williams, head of housing. Question mark, not Gary Hall. Also, Sally Fisher at the TA officer. Sally Fisher has been the cause of so many of these horrific situations. The TA means temporary accommodation. As they all, and Councillor Josh Babarundi OBE sent me to... Hang on a minute. Sally Fisher has been the cause of so many of these horrific situations. I'll put brackets. My partner passed a complaint to her. As have all of them. And Councillor Josh Babarundi OBE sent me to Gary Hall last year. Gary Hall, brackets, head of housing. Last year, because do you know what they do? I think they all just, they change their roles when it suits them, like the wind, you know. Gary Hall, head of housing, last April, because you had the police beat me out of my flat as a response to my father's death, making me street homeless in my nightwear. Because I mean, as I said, if you've watched previous videos, the lovely ladies at Caffins, which is the really grand, you know the Rolls Royces and the Bentley cars and that, they've got these vintage cars. It's like a showroom, you know, for rich people. And they saw me on the steps of Humphrey and Co. in my nightwear, and my gosh, it's just like my banker. Because I'm going to get evidence. I'm going to ask if that banker at Barclays Bank, she'd probably say no. She probably won't be allowed to. But if she could provide evidence that she tried to ring John to let me back into his all-male property a few years ago. These people are absolute arseholes. Pardon my language. Shalom Shabbat Yahweh. Please forgive me, I have to swear. As a response to my father's death, making me street homeless in my nightwear, and as a direct result of Josh's instructions, this is Councillor Josh Babarundi, I was physically assaulted by 2 security guards out of the council offices, pushed out of there, as they said, I film and record, and I am banned. Again, crimes against humanity, and now you, Andrew, are being investigated. I'm going to say which law firm it is because it doesn't matter anymore, really. I don't think it does. Along with law stop by the legal ombudsman for what you put me through all of last year. And can you believe that you couldn't make this shit up? You really couldn't if you tried. The BHT legal advisors who messed me around, who are going to help me make a counterclaim, and now I'm being passed back to them. They don't want to help me, but I'm being passed back to them. They suggested that I ask Law Stop to help me, but Law Stop are being investigated by the legal ombudsman. So when I was basically beaten out of my SDR flat, and my partner was using his rent money and borrowing money from his father, my mum wouldn't have put up with this shit. Even at the age of 86, she wouldn't, because she'd be 86 now. The council, you can't make this shit up. They contacted SDR Living to say, will they take me back in there? This is what you could not make this shit up. You could not if you tried. The legal ombudsman Law Stop and the council were asking SDR Living if they would take me back in there. They'd beaten me out of there. They'd got men to go in and take my stuff out. These are criminals. This is Eastbourne Borough Council. If they're not being sacked like the care coordinator and the night porter who was sacked after 25 years of turning up drunk, they're leaving their jobs like Monique Prescott, leaving everything up in the air. Oh, sweetheart, sweet cakes. Sorry, Abby Yahweh, please forgive me, but I've got to get this off my chest. Anyway, on 3rd of September, 9:32 a.m, my last response to Andrew Cook. Oh no, sorry, I've gone backwards. Sorry, back to the last, the message. The text messages from Lilybank Homes. Again, crimes against humanity, and now you, Andrew, are being investigated along with Lawstock by the legal ombudsman for what you put me through all of last year. 12th of September, 4:38 p.m. The bins need to be put out. This is a text messaging. Again, these are text messages from John or Luke, but they're not saying who sent it from Lilybank Homes, so they work as a twosome. The bins need to be put out in the morning. Wait for it, you couldn't, wait till you hear this, how ridiculous. These people don't even realise how stupid they sound. Narcissists don't even realise when they're contradicting themselves, because all they do is spout shit. And they sound stupid. Wait till you hear this. The bins need to be put out in the morning. The bin schedule is in the kitchen. Well, there isn't one. That's why I made that video that you saw, where I'm saying there is no bin schedule. It is the tenant's responsibility to take the bins out. Thank you for asking for clarity, because I basically said, it is your responsibility to tell us, the tenants, when they go out and what. But I had to do, because my phone is full to capacity. This is my response. Oh no, it's not my response. This is me just putting it in brackets for Andrew. It is the property management's responsibility to tell us about the bin schedule, which they have not. And there is no kitchen notice. We're not tenants, we're licensees. Because tenants have different rights to licensees. That's why they treat us like shit, because tenants have more rights. Whereas if you're a council licensee, as Luke said, you're nothing. You should be out there on the streets. I wish I'd recorded that conversation. I wish I'd recorded what they said. It's just so disgusting. 2 licensees here have complained about this issue as well as scalding hot, dangerous showers. And John did not even tell me about where to go to get a shower that worked when I moved in. This is why they fixed it, because of me. It's like with this landlady. Apparently, that girl Ellie, the nice girl that was moving out when I moved in, allegedly complained about heating and hot water, no heating and hot water. But the landlady only fixed it because I complained. I'm holding in bad language. And John did not even tell me about where to go to get a shower that worked when I moved in, because none of them worked properly. They were either freezing cold or scalding hot. I then made a video showing there is no kitchen notice and the rubbish stacked up outside and recycling bags. So I'm just having to, because I haven't actually typed this email up properly. God, it's 4:30 in the morning. 13th of September at 6:31 p.m. Oh, wait for it. This is the crux of it. So patronising, so disgusting. Bryony, everyone in the building is an adult. Every schedule gets posted through doors in every property. There was no schedule. There's no notice in the kitchen. It's bullshit. Pardon my language. So I've gone on to say patronising, arrogant, lie, and hence why my first statement of how my partner got the key to the property and John or Luke go on to contradict themselves. Right, wait for it. Wait for the humdinger. We weren't at the property as it was an out-of-hours move-in. We are a property provider. We are not social or care workers. Absolutely vile. And this man, actually I'm going to put it in brackets. John had said to me that he was dealing with a death and it is a lot of paperwork. So I later text him to say that I would I later text him sarcastically to say that I would put my suicide on hold. I had just told him, no, I had at the time, I had, after moving in, explained how my partner got me into this property and how I got abuse from my now brain damaged and crippled sister's support worker who swore at me. John said he would pass on to adult social care his concerns, but he did not. He got Louise Corp to send me a harassing text, and he put an obnoxious, harassing letter through the door saying my partner's support was sick, unacceptable behaviour. I was telling him I wanted to kill myself upon him getting me in here. in the pouring rain, getting abuse from the hotel manager of a hotel we had to fund unlawfully for 6 weeks because of the landlady, and abuse from the taxi driver. As I said, abuse has many meanings. So, the bin schedule was supplier in the property and rewrote the bin days on the whiteboard. I've highlighted this part of John's. Right, I'm going to put C below. I have highlighted the part of the text where John or Luke are contradicting themselves. The bin schedule was supplier in the property and we wrote the bin days on the whiteboard, which always gets wiped off. Again, massive contradiction. And by the way, folks, does that sound familiar? Messages getting wiped off boards. If you've been following my YouTube and what that demented school teacher tenant did and how they took the message board off, oh my gosh, do you know something? My heart bleeds for school children. I am not surprised that children are being taken out of schools. I have a 17-year-old goddaughter whom apparently wanted me to see me, but without being rude, her mother, oh my gosh, her mother was the reason why anyway, my late mother said that my friend was balmy. I'm sorry, she's not looking at my videos, but people just don't listen. They're in their own fantasy world. But I do feel very sad that I have a goddaughter that's 17, and I remember mum holding her as a baby, and it makes me sad because I'm an old spinster. I'm 42 and I don't have children, but I wouldn't want to bring them into this world because apparently my ex-goddaughter who's 17 was taken out of the school system. So I'm learning as I go. The collection are every Tuesday. This week coming, it's recycling. But I've highlighted, but he has still not said where to take the bins, and why did he not tell me this instead of this continued rudeness and arrogance? He did not tell me about the police raid flashbangs and that someone punched holes in the walls, or an alleged man with a knife. Again, I'm only saying what the other women said to me, but maybe they want to get me out of the house. Who knows? I mean, there was some strange behaviour from the people here. As lovely as those ladies were, it's a strange thing to ask someone if they're schizophrenic and try and and then say, oh, you're lying, your partner was outside when he wasn't. It's all very strange behaviour. But, it'll all expose itself. Remember, I was only meant to be in this property for one night only. 2 women here said I need to be in a self-contained flat, which of course you had the police beat me from after 4 months as a response to an email regarding my father's death. and why Barwell's contacted PC Thorpe out of concern for me, out of concern for my ongoing suicidal poor state a few days ago. And you all contributed with all these problems I have now. Because I pay storage for other people's shite. Actually, I'll put that. I pay storage for other people's human waste with vintage photos because of John Tutty's fraudulent Section 184 when under the guise of wanting to get me housed, blamed, broken. This is probably what the Masons are up to anyway. Blamed broken utilities on me. Yeah. And the plumber confirmed the washer on the tap had gone. You have all deliberately exploited me. Even my GP, what an idiot. He practically sent me a letter telling me I couldn't say anything bad about the Freemasons, but he's Scottish, Dr. Stewart. He sent me a text message saying that I spent 4 hours with Dr. Jones, who did nothing, and yet the lighthouse practice got me into SDR living. This idiot John here, he knows about SDR living. Everyone in the town does. Everyone does. It's the famous Linwood Saffron. They ignored a petition to the Trestle Trust saying stop bullying the vulnerable. And that was in 2015, and things just went from bad to worse, to worse, to worse. You know, how I've survived all of this, I do not know, because many people have said, I don't know how you did it, but, you know, it's evil. It's absolutely evil. And John Tutty told me that he had slept rough. Don't worry, Bryony, I've got you on the phone, and then did that. I'm just going to put that in February 2018, I went up Beachy Head in the snow, suicidal with a duvet. Well, it had started to snow. Oh, I'll put in February 2000, I went up Beachy Head when it had started to snow, because it wasn't actually snowing, with a duvet. And you just kept locking me out so I could not get to my possessions, which is what John did to me at Ceylon Place, and why a banker at my bank tried to get him to let me back into the all-male house share. Trudy from Warming Up the Homeless said she had contacted you, the council, but you never made contact. Neither did 2 agencies. I'm not sure what I do not know. I am not sure what on earth she means, but she put in a complaint to Jamie Wainwright, Monique Prescott's superior, who placed me here, for being rude to me. Monique has now left her job, or her position, her job or position, and all the problems she was meant to solve, including my council garage storage unit, which was sold, and the DHP, etc., etc., etc. Trudy's ex-police and set up this charity and works 100 hours a week to help vulnerable women. Yet she texts me to ask the 2 women here to contact social services for me if they want to help me. But I do not feel comfortable given what they have said to me, and a threat from one woman to another, again allegedly. Can't spell allegedly. Again, everyone is passing the buck and being irresponsible in all of this. One of the women told me that the one whom I gave Trudy's number to threatened to beat her up, but I'm not supposed to say anything. I really do not want to know anymore. They asked me if I was schizophrenic, and yet they wanted to help me get housed, which is very bizarre in itself. I have just had enough. I want to rephrase that because I want to say they asked me if I was schizophrenic, and yet they very kindly, I want to say very kindly, wanted to help me get housed, which is very bizarre in itself. I've just had enough. 13th of September, 11:58. John or Luke go on to say seek. Message missing. Hang on a minute. Text, there's text missing. Right, so I just put ... The phone call, therefore, going forward, all communications will need to be carried out via text message. This is to protect us, as you are accusing us of being abusive on the telephone when the call does not have the outcome that you desire, or when we are reiterating the rules of the house. Well, it's just, very, very arrogant, narcissistic. They're just being irresponsible. I will not have you cast aspersions on us when they are unfounded. Again, John and Luke are being extremely rude and arrogant and irresponsible. Like badly behaved children. Again, I'm going to put that in the email. Yes, like they are not taking responsibility for the safety and welfare of their licensees. I will ask the banker for a witness statement if she can, but that was a few years ago. Again, the whiteboard, again, the text above shows that the bin information was wiped off the whiteboard. It's very strange, isn't it, how it's very similar to, because in fact, actually, that's very bizarre because I used to write the dates of the recycling. If you remember from my videos, I used to write the dates of the recycling and when the bins went out in the private house share. So it's very strange, isn't it, that they, that they seem to have done the same thing here. All in the club, eh? Oh, it's just very interesting. It's bizarre. I've had it with these weirdos. Again, John and Luke are being extremely rude, arrogant and irresponsible, like badly behaved children. Once again, they are not taking responsibility for the safety and welfare of their licensees. I will ask the banker for a witness statement if she can, but that was a few years ago. Again, the text above shows that the bin information was wiped off the whiteboard again. This is for the sake of both ourselves and you. Yes, everything's for your safety. Yes, that's what the narcissists will say. It's for your safety, when they're just talking out of their arses and making no sense at all. Again, I did not accuse John and Luke of being abusive on the phone, but again, the context of the word abusive, meaning neglectful, and a breach of GDPR and harassment and not carrying out their duties under health and safety, especially with the scalding hot showers, which they only decided to fix when I moved in. The lady next door to me got scolded and used a certain foul-mouthed word to describe Luke, which said it all. But John abused me when he locked me out of Ceylon Place, and I got a banker to contact him/them in 2000, and I think it was 2019. Let's say around 2019, to let me back into their house, their all-male house share in Ceylon Place, and my partner was chased and assaulted by a convict licensee on one occasion. my partner was chased and assaulted by a convict licensee on one occasion. I may even ask the I may ask I've already said this. I may ask the Barclays Bank representative if she can verify this in writing for me, as that was a few years ago, and now this appalling treatment of me and my partner, and arrogant texts about them not being social workers but receiving harassment. They have also contradicted because there is no notice in the kitchen because they admitted it was wiped off the board. Also, there have been no paperwork under the door, and another licensee said the same to me. John had texted me to say he would let the council know this was unsuitable accommodation, but he has not, and you, Andrew Cook, are already being investigated by the legal ombudsman for what you and Sally Fisher, whom my partner complained to about John terminating his phone call, for what you put me through last. Take a deep breath. Also, there have been no paperwork under the door, and another licensee said the same to me. John had texted me to say he would let the council know this was unsuitable accommodation, but he's not. And you, Andrew Cook, are already being investigated by the legal ombudsman for what you and Sally Fisher put me through. And Sally Fisher and my partner complained to. Hang on a minute. And my partner complained to Sally Fisher about John terminating his phone call. And my partner was supporting me. I can feel that anger, do you know what I mean? John had texted me to say he would let the council know this was unsuitable accommodation, but he has not, and you, Andrew Cook, are already being investigated by the legal ombudsman for what you and Sally Fisher put me through, and my partner complained to Sally Fisher about John terminating his phone call, and my partner was supporting me. So this is horrific abuse continued. It's abuse that's being continued. Last text from John or Luke on the 14th of September at 2 a.m. Okay, well now you know what to do with the bins. Solves everyone's issues. No, I don't. Again, arrogant, deplorable, and no, it has not been solved. And no, I do not know where the bins go out or anything. I've not been told where the bins go, and I do not want. I've just said that. I do not want to. I do not want to stay in this house a second longer. And under the Housing Act and Equality Act, Trudy from Warming Up the Homeless said you need to act on this by law, because this is on top of all the crimes committed against me and my sovereignty, which was ignored by all of you, as well as the Chief Financial Officer, Homira Javadi, whom I put on notice under common law when housing needs specialist said that the property at Belmore Road was suitable, and I was attacked several times to the point I thought I would be killed, and I have recordings and video evidence of some of this, as well as neighbour interactions from the Riverbourne house, whom are also, they don't want you to know this. Was it Homes First? Is it Homes First? Right, so I'm just going to leave it at that. That is all I am saying for now. Kind regards, Bryony. This is on top of all the crimes committed against me and my sovereignty, which was ignored by all of you, as well as the Chief Financial Officer, Homira Javadi, whom I put on notice, whom I officially put on notice under common law when housing needs specialist Grace Hill, I forgot to say, Grace Hill, said that the property at Belmore was suitable. I have email evidence of this, and I used my back pip severe disability to self-fund the Cavendish Hotel for 9 months for my safety. And I was attacked several times to the point I thought I would be killed. One of my assailants mentioned in the BBC News as having mugged the elderly. And I have recordings and videos of some of this, and I have I have recordings and video evidence of some of this, as well as neighbour interactions from the Riverbourne house, whom are also Home's first. Monique Prescott has discriminated me, despite saying I need my own one-bedroom flat, which you lot were meant to get me, and said that my needs were too complex for the staff trained in complex needs at SDR. What they mean is they're just told to tell people to meditate and leave things in the past, and LGBT and oh yes, yeah, that's okay. Your sister's, she doesn't need trauma-based therapy. She's your man, because we're all lefty loonies in this town. Yes. Monique, I'm just taking the what's it. Monique Prescott has discriminated me under the Equality Act. Under the Equality Act, despite saying I need my own one-bedroom flat, has said that my needs were too complex for the staff trained in complex needs at SDR, because they could not handle my distress at an email from Barwell's regarding my father's death. Yet Monique said that the mother and daughter, vile degenerates who were released from prison to mug the elderly a second time, were protected by the council and BHT. Their faces were all over MSN and the online BBC News. I recorded Monique telling me to leave alone an old woman who told her that I was no problem at Pevensey Road, and you, the TA team, and Sally Fisher all had me trafficked there with physical force by police. That is all I am saying for now. Kind regards, Bryony. Yes, I think I'm going to send that. Regarding disability discrimination and Part 7 of the Housing Act. I'm going to send it. I'm going to send that, and I'm going to forward it to I'm going to forward it to solicitor. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. It's failed to go to Andrew Cook's address that he sent me. That's very interesting. So the email address that he's given me does not even work. So Andrew Cook's email address doesn't even work, because I've literally just had a message saying it's failed to send. postmaster@lewis/eastbourne.gov.uk. Delivery has failed to these recipients or groups. The email address you entered couldn't be found. I wonder if Andrew Cook has done that deliberately. Well, don't worry, because it's going to the solicitor anyway. Abby Yahweh's got this legal ombudsman. This has got to be it. Oh, God, it makes my blood boil, all of this does. Oh, God, really makes my blood boil. I'll send it to the other email address. I think there's another email address that he sent. These people are disgusting. Oh, God. No, it's very strange. So it's not letting me send. You see, it's very interesting that Andrew Cook wants me to text him. He said, please text me. That's one of the text messages he sent me. And yet that is exactly what these people, John and Luke, have said. They want me to text them. I don't have a smartphone. I'm not going to send everything in text. They're going to get phone conversations. You know why? Because they don't want their voices on YouTube. That's probably it. There's been a bit of this, hasn't there? It's just so pathetic. But they're going to get voice messages whether they like it or not. But it is interesting, though, that this email address does not work. Very odd. Very peculiar. Anyway, I think I'll probably... I'll see if... Hang on, I've just copied and pasted... Anyway, I'm going to finish my video. I'll say if it goes through or not, but I'll certainly find out, that's for sure.